Hey guys, this is Joe and Vanessa with Grace Family Love. Today we're going to be talking about taking life too serious.
That's right. And if you're like us and you're just ready to just be positive and start thriving, then just go ahead and hit that like button and consider subscribing so you don't miss any more content. Let's get into it. To the Grace Family Love podcast. We are back with you for episode number 51.
Hey guys, how are you guys? Today is my birthday.
That's right. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to me.
That's right.
So today we're actually going to talk a little bit about a couple of things, but I want to just go into it real quick and just tell you guys 5 things that I have learned. I'm 35 years old, and when I was 20, because we got married when I was 20 years old. I was just turned 20 that year.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, from now to now, I wouldn't have thought I would have known all of this. I mean, I didn't even know that probably would have been possible to think the way that I think this way. So the first thing would be that love is actually not a fairy tale. That it's not like the way the movies play it out. And it's not an ongoing like date night. You know, like I did not know that. So I was bitter for like every day because it was not like that. And then in my mind, I'm just like, I need to divorce this guy because this one's broken.
It was a setup.
This was a setup. Who gave me this guy? You know, and I didn't know that. So now I look back and I'm just like, poor little Vanessa. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So the second thing would be that God fixes things you don't fix nothing. Like God fixed my marriage. God fixed me. God fixed everything. And he's dang good at it. Like I would have never known that. I went through the world thinking like I got to fix everybody and fix everything. And that's also heavy. And like, it's just heavy. You know, you take everything so serious because you just want to get there. And like, where is there? You know what I mean? Like, anyways. So the third thing would be that it's okay to work on your relationship and work on your marriage and still have a good time, even though it's not perfect, even though it's not 100%. That it's okay to have good times and then maybe later be like, we just had a good time, we're arguing again. It's like, yeah, because you're human. And when you know that, then you just kind of, you know, you just deal with it instead of like the whole like Chicken Little, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. You know, and my last one would just be that everything that your husband is or other people are, like that's not your responsibility to change. And it's easier if you just accept people and love them the way they are versus loving them until like making them change and then saying, I'll love you now that I'll change you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think that's why it's important to, when you do it right, you know, like you actually take time to talk about those things and be able to have an honest conversation about maybe there are some things in your relationship, let's say before marriage, right? Mm-hmm. Things that maybe are kind of like red flags, or you could actually talk about it and say, well, why did you say that? Or why do you think like this? And if it's something that's not in agreement with your moral standards or what you want in life, then at that point you can actually say,
see ya.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you. It was great. You're a great person, but you're not for me.
You only had 4 out of my 20 checklists, like, so I'm good.
Yeah, and you could walk away with no hard feelings, you know,
That's
without
right.
the emotional, you know, the drama that comes with.
Yeah, but I think that's why I'm saying, like, that's also taking everything so serious. Like, if you knew, like, you could just do that, like, do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you really can. And, you know, like, the sucky part about it is that, like, we just overly exaggerate everything. Like, and not just me, everybody does. You know what I mean? Like, even men. Like, you know, I'm laughing because this weekend we were at we had like a little birthday something, and I'm gonna put Joe on blast right here. So
bring it. It's something that I'm good at. I usually can handle it pretty well.
Yeah. So he made a comment, and everybody was like, whoa. Like, even his mom was like, son, I'm going to spank you. Like, how did you say that right now? And he's just like laughing. Like, he thought it was like the funniest thing ever. And I'm just like, you know, like in the cartoons, like what? What did you just say? So, I mean, on another note, like, I would have just been super offended. Like, I was able to just tell him, like, hey, dude, that was a little bit, like, rough. Like, you need to tone it down a bit. So he was just like, I'm sorry, you know what I mean? But it was simple. You know what I mean? And before, I just took everything so personal. Like, I just thought, like, you're ruining my love story in my head. You know, that's literally what I thought every single time he did something that was the opposite of what I wanted in my mind. You know what I mean? Like that fairy tale. Yeah. And I keep going back to that because I hear a lot of people just wanting to get divorced because it's like, you're not being what I want you to be.
Yeah.
Like, it can be that easy to go find that other person and it'll be just like that. You know, like.
Yeah, life and love is work.
It's a lot of work, guys.
And so I think what is important is if you could just know that life is pretty serious, but it's too serious to take it so seriously, if that makes sense.
Explain to them, because when I first heard that, I was like, that doesn't make sense. It blew my mind a little bit.
Well, I mean, you're not the only one going through things.
Yeah.
You know, you're not the only one that thinks that way.
Yeah.
You know, and so if you can just get your mind wrapped around the fact that everybody's going through it.
Yes.
Everybody that gets married is going to struggle. Mm-hmm. And if somebody says that they're not, that it's just this perfect marriage, then you can laugh on the inside because you know it's a lie. Like, you just know that it's a lie. And I just say that because just know that you're going to go through things.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it. You don't have to get wrapped up in this blanket of sorrow because you're the only one that is going through it. Nobody can understand you. Why is it only you and everybody else has a perfect marriage?
Oh my
gosh. It's just not that way.
That was like my everyday thought. I see people on Instagram and scrolling on Facebook, and I'm sitting looking at Joe, and I'm like, oh, everybody has the best husband in the world, and mine was defective. It just, oh my gosh.
And it's not that serious. And if you're able to laugh at yourself or laugh at your situation and just kind of look back and do some self-reflection and say, yeah, I was probably exaggerating just a little bit, you know, or you find a scenario that you found yourself in and you can laugh and say, now that I know what I know now, I can see, you know, I didn't have to react that way. And if you could laugh at yourself, that's a good sign. Somebody that can laugh at themselves that's a sign of maturity and growth. And honestly, it's a sign that you are able to remove yourself from a situation for just a moment and see it from an outside perspective and think, okay, now that I'm not enveloped, completely wrapped up in that emotion of the situation, I could probably say like, yeah, I probably could have responded a little bit better. So that's what I would say for everybody. Like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
If you're able to have those moments of just taking a look at the situation from an outside perspective, or taking a look at yourself and how you've responded and say, yeah, I probably could have done a little bit better. Recognizing that's a big deal. Yeah. And even that, just that in and of itself is good enough. That's a sign of progress. Yeah. And so you don't have to be wrapped up and just losing your mind that you're not where you want to be yet. It's just little steps. Yeah. You know, every long journey starts with one step at a time. Yeah. And before you know it, you're there.
Yeah. And I think that if you can laugh along the way till you get to the end of the destination, which is the sad part, that I promise you, by the time you get to the end of the destination, you're probably going to be going to heaven soon. Because, like, I'm not even joking. It's a long process. And while you're here, it's just everything till the day you die. It's going to be a process, and it's going to be growth. Always, 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 always. So if you're taking it serious right now, tomorrow, the next day, a year from now, and then again, like, it's going to be one heavy life. Like, it really is. Versus just, you know, taking it for what it is. And I was laughing because I sent Joe this, I don't know if it was like a TikTok video or something, where this guy was just like tell me your wife is annoying without telling me your wife is annoying. And he's, the husband is like talking to his wife and he's telling her like, you know, I don't know what's going to happen in this movie either, because like I'm just watching it. So like basically just let me watch it. No commentary, please. Like, you know, like when you talk to me, I miss out on understanding the dialogue between the characters. And he just goes on and on and on. And the wife's just like staring at him and like nodding his head. But I'm laughing because Joe used to hate this about like, and I can, maybe, though that's a kind of a harsh word, but the moment that I would just start talking, like I could see his eyes rolling to the back of his brain. And in the beginning, like he would just get irritated and he'd just be like, I don't know. I don't know. Can you just watch? Just watch. And I'd just be like, okay. You know what I mean? Like in the beginning, then I'm all butthurt, like, he just told me to watch. Like, I just wanted to talk about it, you know, and he would just ruin the movie for me because, again, I was taking everything so serious. So now, like, I don't even care if he wants to hear it or not. I'm just going to say it because I'm like, I'm scared, or I'm just like, did you see that? I already know what's going to happen. Because, mind you, I have a gift. Joe's already looking at me. And my son has a gift. We can literally decode the whole movie and then tell you at the end, because it's going to happen, and it does happen.
Don't watch movies with them.
And he just like, when we're like talking, even with each other, he's just like making jokes and taking digs at us because we're doing it. But I'm still laughing. I'm still talking about it. And, you know, like it's just, now it's just funny, you know, because it's on me and he's who he is. And we accept that about each other. So I think that when you can just laugh and know that, you know, each other maybe doesn't accept that part like 100% because that's not who that person is, but you love them anyways, you know, like you do. You know, like for Joe, he has a really nice tendency of making people feel very like, I don't know how the word to put it in a nice way. Not that smart, maybe. Let's just put it, and not because he means to, but it's just like the way he makes like his comments or what he says, and then he just leaves people like, what? Like just thinking, or, you know, over analyzing everything. So then when I talk to him and I repeat what he says, like later on, like we're both laughing about it because I know him. Like I know he's never trying to make anybody feel bad or hurt anybody's feelings. But one, he's from the military. Okay. So mind you. Two, like sarcasm is his first language and English is his second language.
That was good.
And third, like he has no filter and he tries really hard to have a filter. But when in his brain, the military and then his first language sarcasm comes out, then it's not bad because that's him. You know what I mean? So we laugh about it all the time. And I know all the other people are not laughing about it because they're butthurt, you know, but it's just like I've learned to love that about him. Like, shoot, I even bought him a shirt that said sarcasm is, what did it say? Like, is my language.
I think one just says sarcasm, it's what I do best.
Oh,
and then another one says get over it.
That was his favorite phrase, by the way.
Yeah, it's tough. I always say that I'm working on it. But I think me working on it is just me being silent.
Yeah. And that's not fun either because that's a boring joke too.
Yeah. So I haven't quite figured it out yet. You know, I'm trying, but I haven't figured out the recipe yet to overcome that. So sometimes I just have to not say anything and hopefully that's for the best. So until I figure out, you know, I don't know what else has to happen. I think God just has to change a few more things in me and hopefully I can get it right.
But anyways, we just wanted to talk about that, guys. Just that, you know, during this week, during this month, during this year, you know, like life is already serious. There's a lot of things that everybody wants to make it serious, whether it's dating, whether it's marriage, whether it's a relationship, whether it's parenting, whether it's like everything is, what is that phrase, like do or die, or is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, everything's like do or die. And I would say if you feel right now like life is just overly heavy and things are just so burdensome and it's really hard to see that the glass is half full, and you're just really pessimistic, and everything seems like it's just a downer, and it's hard to find a reason to be happy, consider your influences and find out how you can adjust maybe some of your daily routine to help make room for positivity. Like a good example might be if you start or end your day with the news, probably don't do that.
Don't do that.
You know, if you're a person that really has to watch the news every day, I would say instead of having that be the first thing you do or the last thing you do before you go to bed, make that something like maybe a before dinner thing or a right after dinner.
Don't do it before dinner because you're going to be all sour with everybody.
But my point is that not before bed, right before you're about to go to sleep, and not to start your day. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a really bad way to start your day and a really poor way to end your day right before you're supposed to get some rest.
Yeah.
So little things like that, little adjustments can really help out. You know, maybe not eating a super heavy meal so late in the evening.
Drinking
little
water
things
when
like
you
that.
wake up.
Yeah, drinking water, making sure you're drinking enough water every day.
Yes.
Those are little things that actually you can do to help promote health in your body. And a healthy body just means that you're able to actually manage the stresses of the day more easily. Another one is get enough sleep.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're not getting at least, I would say 6 hours, less than 6 hours, you're really pushing it. You know, the older we get, the more we rely on sleep.
Yeah.
And so if you're like, 40 or 50, like you have to be getting at least 6 hours of sleep. 8 hours would be optimal, but try to get enough sleep, because if not, like you are just going to, in the long run, wear yourself down and burn yourself out.
Yeah.
Another thing would be is if you're always so busy that you don't have time to just rest, then perhaps you're doing too much.
Yes.
And that's not a good thing either. And I get it. I am super busy, but having the time to just play with the kids, for an hour or two, having time to just sit down and watch TV with your spouse, or read a book, or just have time, where it's just quiet. Like those things are really important. And even if you're so busy, you have to schedule them in your day, so be it. But the point being is that some time to decompress.
Yeah,
those,
for sure.
Those are very important things. Finding time to play a game or just go for a walk, laugh, watch a comedy show, just something to kind of
break.
Yeah, give yourself a break from having to be on and be so serious all the time. Yeah. So it's not always do or die.
Yeah. So just this week, guys, take that into consideration. Make sure that you're doing your self-care in order to be able to, give to others. And that's it. Just when you're taking life way too serious, just remember what I said. Life is already serious. It has its own job. Like it does it for you. So just you relax. You just go through life, but relax.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Think about all the things that she's saying about me right now, right? I'm kind of put under the microscope and on blast. But God uses somebody like me to bring positivity. Like, go figure, right? Super sarcastic, can be really rude, but God changed my life.
Yeah.
So maybe a little more God in the morning instead of the news, a little more God in the evening instead of the news, something positive. And just the thought, like, here's what I think, to honestly, when I think I'm all that, which happens from time to time, where I get a little overly confident, and humility is the best practice. Like we need to try to stay away from pride. And so in the Bible, God used a donkey, right, to send a message. And so I always think, well, if God can use a donkey, like he could definitely use me, because I've done quite a few things in my life that would, get people to call me any other name than my own. You can just be creative and think of whatever you want there. But the point being is that we're here.
Yeah.
We made it. We're alive.
Yeah.
We're in a place of privilege, where we can be what we want to be.
Yes.
We can do what we want to do. We can love and be free to love and be loved. Like we just have this great freedom, and we have this great place, and we have a wonderful God that is ready and willing to do great things in us and through us.
Yes.
And that's awesome. That's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I want to close off with this real quick. I had a conversation with Aiden in the car, and I was just asking him some questions. Because he's our kind of our quiet kid.
Yeah, if you don't know, Aiden's our youngest boy.
Yeah, he's like the middle child. So he just said, like, I was just having a hard time because I feel like I'm not super connected. So I don't want to, like, I don't know. I want to be connected. And he just had like this heaviness on him. And I said, look, love. So I want you to understand these concepts. Okay. One, I want you to understand that God paid the price. You know, Jesus came down and he paid the price for us, for our mistakes, because our sins are mistakes. So all of them, all mistakes you're going to commit from the beginning to the end of your days, he paid for that. Okay. So you don't have to feel guilt about that. Two, you are loved. There's nothing you can do more, or more jobs, or more be perfect teenager, or, you know, do more hours of devotion, or whatever you want to think in your head in order for God to love you. Yeah. God loves you, period. That's done. Okay. And I go, third, I want you to understand that what you do with your life, since there's no guilt. Okay. You're forgiven. You are loved. You're going to heaven. That's a given. You don't have to be this perfect person. And I go, so then what is there left? He's just like, well, nothing. And I go, okay. I go, what can you create out of your life? He's just like, well, I don't know. And I go, okay, well, now that all of that's gone, that you don't have to do things in order to please somebody, in order to get love, in order to, you know, be a perfect person in somebody's eyes, like, what could you do? He goes, well, I can just be me. And I go, what does that look like? He's just like, well, I could just spend time with you guys. I can just laugh and play and have a good time. And I'm just like, you can create whatever you want out of life. Isn't that so cool? And he's just like, yeah. I was like, how does that feel? He's like, freeing. And I go, nice. That's great. And I go, so I want you to know that there's the standards that you put in your head is your standards. They're not God's standards. God already told you, like, my son was perfect. He paid the price. You just live the best life that you can here. And here are some tips that can help you, you know? And I go, like, all you have to do is just do it because it benefits your life. It's good for you. Hanging out with your family, what do you get out of that? He goes, well, it makes me joyful. It makes me happy. I like to laugh. I feel loved. And I go, it's great for you. It's good for you. And I go, so do things that are going to edify your heart, your mind, your body. And I go, when you do that, just know that you have the freedom to do that. The sky's the limit. Just take away the burden that you put on your own self. Take away the burden that people put on you. Take away the burden that saying comes and tells you, like, these are the standards. You're not meeting them. Feel guilty. Get depressed. Have anxiety. Like, no, take that away. So I hope that helps you to understand that there is no standard. You create your standard in your mind. You allow other people to create the standard of a life that it should be. When it's not. It's literally, you can create whatever you want out of it. If you just give life a chance. If you just give positivity a chance. If you just give joy a chance. Happiness a chance. You can literally have that if you want it. Like, the world doesn't give you that. It doesn't say, like, oh, here. No, you grab it and you say, like, no, I want to be happy. I want to be joyful. Yeah. And you can do that.
Nice. I like it. That sounded like a really good conversation.
It was. Nice. I was crying. He was crying. It was good.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. So we're going to pray real quick, okay? God, I just thank you for another year of life. Yes. I thank you for the ability to be here with, new friends, new family. I just thank you for their lives as well. I ask that today, Lord, that you just bless their life, you bless their family, that you just bless them with positivity and wisdom and just courage to take on just the ability to make life into something good for them, to make life into something joyful instead of something that it's heavy and burdensome. I just ask that this week, Lord, that they be able to just be free from those chains, be free from that guilt, be free from the standard that the world and this culture puts on you. I just ask that they be able to take the yoke of the world off and put your yoke, because you say your yoke is easy. So I just ask that you just be with them, bless them, allow them to see you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Hey guys.